Hello, I'm Martin Fencka and welcome to the second part of the Eador Imperium unit introduction. In the previous part we have checked all the new tier 1 units, and for this part I'd like to cover all the higher tier units and maybe you can have a quick look on the new guards. We won't see the composition or anything like that, but we can at least, have a look. Maybe there'll be something we can guess from pictures and stuff. So, first new tier 2 units comes from officer 10s. Price is 695 plus 10 or 550 plus 2 redwood, 3 iron and 1 mithril. Okay, that's quite a lot. These guys are on the good side. Centurions, so let's have a look at them. As I said, they are good. 100 plus 20 and they require 2 iron. The upkeep is really high, so they would better be good. 23, 13, 14. 23 is not that much, but tier 2 units often start around this number, and then they often get like plus 2 health level ups. So we'll see. It depends on what kind of level ups they get, how good they become. 1 movement, 12 attack, 8 counter attack is not horrible. 362 decent range defense. The melee defense will probably have to be boosted through leveling and medals. 2 resistance is not that high. These guys look like guardsmen to me. So maybe a bit higher numbers for the defense. I'm not sure. It depends on their level ups. Hard to say. When we read the description, Centurions are responsible for the Legion's morale. They are authorized to execute soldiers that don't know how to pronounce succumbed to panic. I'm sorry if I crippled the pronunciation. Legionaries led by Centurion perform better on the battlefield. So, it seems like partially support unit. When we look at their skills, they're an officer, new ability. All units with the discipline ability within 1 hex of the officer gain +1 to attack and no longer lose morale due to wounds and losses amongst allies. Imperial lictors can even boost non-disciplined units, while consuls have the effect range increased to 2 hexes. Okay. This could mean that these guys can specialize while leveling to either become the lictor or the consul, and then this officer ability either affects more units or is increased in range. Again, this needs more testing. They definitely have some potential. I just can't say how strong these stacking effects are gonna be on the map, how high it will be possible to boost the numbers of units around. We know from the previous video that there are some guys on tier 1 who already benefit from the discipline. And I already mentioned that these Legion units will probably be very strong as long as they stay together. We'll just have to see how strong they'll be. I have a feeling that they can be pretty overpowered. And the last ability Centurions have, Decimation. Unit can restore morale of all allied units by sacrificing a soldier. I'm not sure how often you want to be using this ability, but if you get into trouble, for example, when you're fighting demons and most of your army suffers morale loss, or you fight against sorcerers and sorcerers decide to spam fear on you and your morale drops a lot overall, I can see some use for the decimation here and there to quickly recover from these fights that are heavy on fear. So yeah, nice to have the option. But with the price, I don't know. The Legion guys will really need some testing to show if they are worth it or not. Next one we have Bear Coral. This is probably my favorite. 690 plus 20 or 600 plus redwood, 2 iron and 1 arcanite, and this allows the recruitment of Warbears. And if you look at the Warbear, it's a neutral unit, and it's just all-in attack. 80 gold to recruit, 15 gold upkeep. I'm not sure about the 15 gold. It's quite old. They're cheap to get. 15 gold, I don't know. I'd maybe do like 80, 10 even for them, because they have like no defenses. These guys will be super hard to keep alive. 23 hit points. Hopefully they get a ton of plus health level ups. 39 isn't bad. Only 1 movement is surprising. I'd say that beasts should be faster. I don't think that bears are really that slow, but well. Maybe they get extra movement from level ups, or they're like forced march or something like that. If they don't get extra speed, I'm not sure. That could limit their use by quite a bit. 16 attack is quite a lot. Counter attack not that good. Almost no defenses, as I said. No resistance at all. These guys will be super hard to keep alive. They have forest knowledge from the start, crippling strike, and rider scourge, which is a new ability. This unit possesses the first strike ability when attacked by enemy cavalry. So yeah, I don't know. I kinda like them, but I'll have to test them out if they actually work. I like their attack. I like real offensive units. But they need something to become good. If this is all they have, don't get anything extra as they level up, some interesting new skills, then they'll be probably too fragile and too slow. But we'll see. I really want to try these guys out. I don't know why I like them. I just do. When you check the description, the shamans and witch doctors of the forest people often domesticate these mighty kings of the woods, who can go into frenzy at the slightest provocation and are particularly dangerous to riders. This frenzy could mean that they get something like berserking or some kind of berserking type ability, maybe increasing their speed. That would be nice. Maybe some form of interaction with witch doctors, for example, that the witch doctor could have an ability to enrage the warbear, and when enraged, the warbear then would get extra speed and damage, something like that. That would allow like the forest people kind of build, that these units would support each other. That would be interesting, but yeah, we'll have to check that out. As I said multiple times already, I don't know the level ups, so we'll see. We'll have to test these units. The last new tier 2 unit is Harpooner. From Harpoon Shooting Ground, either 530 or 500 plus 3 redwood. These guys are evil, and when we check their stats, 24, 12, 10, nothing amazing from these numbers. 1 movement, again, I don't like slow units, so these guys need to have some impressive skills. At least for me. 9-7, that's definitely not impressive for tier 2 units. 1-3-0, again, nothing. Actually, less than average defenses. 0 resistance sucks, but they seems to be ranged, so if they have good range stats, that might compensate for the previous stats. 755. Actually, not that amazing. Seems to me something like a spearman on steroids. A bit more focused and ranged attack. 90 gold and 19 upkeep is a lot. So they better be really good. Let's read the description. These barbarian women specialize in hunting large prey, crippling and immobilizing it with large harpoons launched from massive arrow throwers. And how does harpoon work? The unit can harpoon its target, pulling it near, what? The unit can harpoon its target, pulling it near all while immobilizing it and damaging its armor. The unit needs to have empty hexes next to it in order to use the ability. I'm not sure how exactly does this work. You can immobilize the target, but when something is immobilized, it doesn't mean that it can't counterattack. So what I think is they just like grab something, pull it closer to like a group of units that is waiting, and like this might be easier for you to avoid being attacked first. I'm not sure. I'll have to test this out. I don't know what to think about this unit. It's pretty expensive, so they'll have to have some really good abilities, and the harpoon will have to be very useful. For this unit, I'm not sure. I'll have to test this out. I can't say how good or how bad this will be. So let's just leave it here, and we'll see when we actually get these units into combat and test them out. Okay, new tier 3 stuff. We're gonna start with Cataphracts from Cataphract Barracks. 2,245 or 2,100 with Redwood, 2 iron, 3 horses. That's not that bad for tier 3 units. These guys are on the good side, and when we look at them, 32, 30, 11, that is bad for a tier 3 unit, I would say. 350 and 70 is really quite expensive. 3 movement, okay, it's not bad. 1410, again, for tier 3 unit, it seems to be pretty low. From tier 3 unit, I expect the numbers to be high enough to basically make a core of the army. These stats are more like tier 2. 362, again, not a big deal for a tier 3 unit. And 945, they have some kind of ranged attack, so maybe like a stronger horse archers. But they're, I don't know, not too impressed by these numbers. They have charge, okay, they're mounted units, so I'd expect them to have charge. Let me check the description. Maybe this will give us some clues about how they can develop on higher levels. The Cataphracts are widely recognized as the elite of professional soldiers. Unlike knights who originate from the nobility, the Cataphracts are willing to accept any recruits as long as he is capable of enduring many years of exhausting exercises and trials. Cataphracts begin their training since childhood, and the rigors of their schools are so testing that only 1 out of 20 recruits survives to receive his horse, his armor, and his right to be called a cataphract. On the other hand, these warriors know everything that is needed to survive in the heat of battle and to deal maximum damage to the enemy. Highly mobile, strong both in defense and in offense, able to attack enemies at great range, cataphracts truly are universal warriors. Yeah, maybe this would be true if these guys were a tier 2 unit. I think that their numbers are just too low for a tier 3 unit, especially with this price. Like, if I'm gonna pay 70 gold per turn for a unit, I want its numbers to be like double of what these guys have. So, for now, they seem to be pretty disappointing. And I think they need a boost. Again, I don't know their level ups. There may be some crazy level ups, and for example, on level 10 they become so strong that I'm completely wrong. I don't think so. So again, I will try to test them out. but I don't expect much from them. Next we have Tribunes from Tribune Academy. 2405 plus 20 gems or 2200 plus 3 iron and 2 mithril. Good guys again. So how do they work? 14, 19, 14, that's decent. 360, yeah, quite expensive. But let's check their abilities, then we're gonna judge how expensive they are. Movement 2, 16, 14, okay, not stunning, but it has some potential. 483 is decent, no ranged attack. Okay, so pure melee unit. The high-ranking officers of the Legion can boost morale of their troops. So this is something for the Legion build. So what do they have? They have Officer 2. By the number, I'd say they can boost. They can boost the attack by 2. So this number means for how much they're gonna boost the units around them. Okay. And yeah, discipline again. And rally. The unit can restore morale of all nearby friendly units. Um, So the stronger version of the decimation ability, it increases the morale not for all units but all units that are around the Tribune, but it doesn't require a sacrificing unit, which is of course a huge difference often. I think they'll be decent in the Legion build. By themselves, I don't think they are worth it, but as long as they're standing around all the Legion guys and get all the buffs from each other, I think they can be pretty damn strong. Okay, next one. Now we have Inquisitors from the chapter of the Inquisition. 1950 and 125, this suggests they're probably casters, or 1800 plus 75, 2 iron, arcanite, and mandrake. Let's check their stats. 32, 14, 16, not bad. 2, 15, 12. Oh, they're not casters, they're melee? Really? Okay. 250 and 20, 50 and 4. I still think it's a bit too high, the upkeep. What do they have? Smite Evil, Circle of Protection, increases the defense of friendly units within 1 hex by 5 when attacked by demons, undead. Maintaining the circle consumes stamina. Okay, so like, interesting that they're neutral. I'd say these guys would be good since they're so specialized against demons and undead. And yeah, just like a splash unit, probably if you expect to fight a ton of demons and undead. Maybe, probably. And let's check their description. These stark and pitiless combatants against chaos can protect their followers from being attacked by demons and the undead. The most experienced inquisitors can cause the unholy abominations into panic with the symbol of their fate. So it seems that as they level up, they become stronger and stronger against undead and demons, and they have some kind of fear that can affect undead. So far that wasn't possible in the game. But the problem with this is at the point where you can get tier 3 units, you are usually, or your army is usually so strong that you just kill everything. You don't care about something like you know, casting fear on a ghoul or a ghost. To just kill it. So maybe it would be better to give this ability to some lower tier unit, maybe even tier 1 unit, that would allow it to actually uh, uh, use this ability when it matters early in the game, when you have problems, when there are like too many ghouls, that you would just make some of them run away, and you'll be able to handle these undead one by one. As I said, on this tier, it's probably irrelevant. Again, I don't know level ups, so we'll have to check that out. On the higher tier we have, the less important all these support units become. Maybe if they get like resurrection, that would be interesting. That would maybe fit to the Inquisitor style. I don't know. They're probably not. Not really. It's more like a priest stuff. All of these resurrections. So I don't know. You'll have to see the level ups, but again, not too impressed. And the last new unit from either Eador Imperium, at least from what we can see right now, are witches from Sanctuary of the Witches. Almost 3,000, 200, 880, 325 gems. That's a lot. They are evil, and with resources, it's 1700 plus 100, 3 Mandrakes, 3 Arcanite, 1 Dionium, and 1 Black Lotus. That's a lot of resources. Let's have a look at them. Wow, they actually even need 3 resources if you want to hire them for their original price, 250 plus 90. 50 and 19, that's a lot. 19 gems per turn is ridiculous. I'd say that overall these higher tier units from Imperium should have their upkeep decreased. Let's check their stats. They're obviously casters, so hit points are usually very low. 1 movement, that's interesting. 14, 6, 1, 3, 6. Yeah, caster stats. 10, 5, 5 for magic damage isn't bad. And they have curse, okay, and then they have will suppression. The unit can suppress the will of the enemies, completely immobilizing units with low resistance while weakening and slowing down others. Completely immobilizing. This could be really good. This would basically give you like a option to use 2 crowd control abilities at a turn, let's say a Vap or a Sleep from a hero and Will Suppression from a Witch, immobilizing 2 units per turn, at least for a while until you run out of ammo. And that would make it much easier to divide the opponent's army and fight them in small groups. This has some potential. At this point, it still does not justify the upkeep, but if they get the good level up, they might be actually worth it. This will suppression really has some potential. Read the description. The most powerful among those who use the magic of the dark forest, witches can paralyze their victims with their gaze alone, and no more hints bound to what they could get on higher levels. But yeah, I would say they have some potential. They are just ridiculously expensive. The upkeep is too high. Let's make it like 30-10, maybe 35-10. That would be more reasonable, I think. Also, the price, unless you have these resources, they'll cost like 600 each. 500 probably. Well, I'll have to try this out. Again, the final judgment, I'll say when I get these units to higher levels and see how useful they really are. So we are done with all the new units, and as I said, we can quickly have a look on the new guys, at least those that we can see here. Probably won't be able to see too much, but well, we can try. So this is Hunting Party Guard, 95 plus 5. Can be used in forest, hills, and swamps. A small band of forest hunters can provide the local garrison with some provisions, and their hunting trails lead beyond the borders of the province, resulting in useful intelligence reports on your neighbors. The forest barbarians avoid open plains. cost of garrison units reduced by 25%. Province spotting range is that is interesting. So if you have these guys in the province, you can see further from the province, and also if you have also garrison in the province, it's cheaper. So this is like a guard in a province where we have outpost to get extra vision, and you wouldn't rely on this guard to stop the enemy. Uh, like the main defense would be the outpost, and these guys would just tell you in time that something is coming, so you can already start moving your heroes in the direction, uh, while the outpost is holding the province, something like that. How often this is relevant, I can't say, but this is like probably the idea behind this guide. Then we have Deserters Guard. Let's check them. Cannot be disbanded. Okay. Can be used anywhere. A band of rank and file legionaries who deserted their service is willing to serve any generous patron. Okay, so basically, how are they called? Can't remember the word. Oh, whatever. Never mind. Let's just go on. I probably take me forever to recall the word that I wanted to use. Unless they are rarely content to stick with the payment they've previously agreed upon. Okay, so they're taking away part of the province income. Well, it depends on how strong they will be. Well, hard to say. I don't know. They are available quite early, but it depends on the exact composition, how useful it will be, if it's worth sacrificing the income. I don't know. Though it also depends on how the computer will be able to fight with them, because since all these guys are from the like the Legion type units, if the AI just uses them in the defensive block, doesn't move forward, they could be quite strong at defending provinces. As I said, they would have to be handled properly by the AI. Next we have Tribal Village, allowing the recruitment of Forest Tribe Guards. This seems to be a higher tier guard, judging by the price of the building. Yeah, expensive as hell. The upkeep is not that bad, but price to hire them is quite high. Usable everywhere, or everywhere except, yeah, everywhere except plains, basically. Inviting entire tribe of forest savages into province will provide it with powerful defenses and the population boost. Interesting. However, the locals won't be happy with such neighborhood, for barbarians are fond of taking that which is not theirs. The forest dwellers avoid open plains. Population growth +2. Okay, unrest growth rate increased by 2. Province income -10%. Price gem income is 20%. For this price, they would have to be extremely strong to be worth it, because they are basically on the level of monster guards. So they would have to be pretty damn strong to be worth hiring these guys instead of monsters. Again, something that I'll have to try. It would be nice to have an option to monster guards on the third tier for guards. Okay, could have some potential. Now we have Camp of the Legion, almost 3,000 for a building. So again, high tier guard, a good guard. Increases morale of capital province defenders by 2. Increases recruits experience by 25. Allows hiring the court guard. Let's see. 540 25. That's not bad. The Imperial Legionaries are well trained and highly disciplined soldiers. As a rule, they are stationed to protect the borders of the Empire, but the sufficient bribe sent to a government official will secure the deployment of their garrison at any province. It's very hard to get the camp. That could be a problem. I'd maybe make them like tier 2, the price for the building like half of this, and make them a guard between, let's say, men of war and monsters, because there is a huge leap between men of war and the next basically tier of guards that usually are monsters. If there was something in between that was worth wearing, I know that there is a mob guard, for example, but usually that's not that useful. If there was something better in between Men of War and monsters, that'll be interesting. I'm not sure if for the tier 3 they can really compete with monsters. Usually you would like to hire something other than monsters when you are low on gold, which would work with this guard. They cost 20 gold per turn less than Monster Guard, but you probably won't be able to build the Camp of the Legion if you have problems with gold. So I'm not sure if you'll ever want to use these guys. But again, it depends on how good the guard actually is. So we'll see that. I'm just judging, from the first look. And then we have the last one we can at least see now is Dungeon of the Inquisition, allowing to hire Fanatics Guard. This is interesting because this is tier 4 building that's extremely cheap. I don't think that this is right. The price is more like tier 2. Well, I'm not gonna like say how it should be. Maybe there is, or developers definitely have some plan with this, so yeah, why not? Uh, Extremely cheap. Let's check them. Uh, all these numbers are really just like tier 2. Cannot be disbanded, can be hired anyway. 10-3 upkeep is not horrible. 3 gems, well, I think it's acceptable. Here I agree with the price. I just don't agree with the tier. Let's see, the Inquisitors fight against chaos wherever they find it, and they find it wherever they fancy. Surrounded by a gang of devoted fanatics, they are quick to impose their version of order in the province, asking for a small donation to Lord of Light in return. Of course, scheduled mass burnings do not make the residents happy, but few dare to voice their discontent. Population with -2, population growth -1, unrest growth rate reduced by 3. So this is basically a guide for a province where the people are already furious, so you don't care about the population mood. You don't want to have strong rebellions, so the minus population growth is actually useful, and then you don't want to have uprisings like every 2 turns or 3 turns. So the unrest growth rate reduced by 3 slows down the rate at which the rebellions are popping up. Yeah, this could work. I'm just not sure that it's worth 10 plus 3 upkeep. Maybe if it's a province where you have a resource that you really need and the people there are already really pissed off, so don't have a chance to calm them down, you just hire this guard and don't have to worry about rebellions that are too often. Yeah, there is some use for this. What's the requirement, by the way? Um, this could work. I'm not sure if the Cathedral of Immortals should be a requirement for this. That seems a bit like an overkill. Oh, well, there'll probably be some changes. This is a very early version of the game, so just saying my first ideas and what I would change from just looking at this right now. All of this can change. As I said, I see some of these things for the first time, or I only quicked them briefly before. So we'll see if there will be any changes, or if I'm just completely wrong about how I'm judging these units. But what I know is that we are done with all these new units, with the introduction of new units. And that means in the next video we can look on new heroes, or first of the 4 new heroes, and we can check one of the very significant changes to game mechanics. I'm not gonna mention now. I'm just saying that there is one big change for combat, and we're gonna look at it in the next video. So I hope you join me for that. I hope that you like this video, and until the next part, have a good time. Bye bye.